Okay, everybody, for this watercolor pencil demo, you are going to need this sketch and wash pencil, and you will need a paintbrush, some water, a regular piece of watercolor paper that I have for you. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to use this watercolor pencil to create all kinds of different things with it. You're going to kind of play around and test it out and see what happens. So I definitely want you to do a few things with that. Some of the things I would like you to do, I'd like you to try out organic lines, geometric lines and shapes, especially geometric. Testing out water before, water after. So here is a couple things that I'm going to show you how to do. And from there, I want you to kind of play around with it on your own. First of all, you do want to draw with a pencil, okay? Especially when you do your final design and you start really working, sketch everything out with a pencil, but very lightly, right? So I'm going to draw a circle right here. I'm going to test out organic lines. I'm going to draw a square right here as well. Okay, so I'm doing a couple of different things, then I'm going to do some other things over here. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw with my pencil. And you have to be careful with how heavy or how light you go. It really, really goes a long way. So I'm going to just draw very lightly at first. And just barely over here, because this is going to be, I'm going to make this my light source over here. And I can add more to it if I need to later. So I'm going to go in with my brush, get it wet. And I'm going to activate. Basically, this is activated charcoal. That's what it's called. Do you see how it's already really dark? And then I'm going to spread this out through here, right, on my own. So this is the reason why I want you to practice with this before you go on to your final, so you can really see how it works. And then once this is dry, I'm going to come back in and add some more, but I'm going to go over to my box first. And I'm going to play around with like a really hard edge here. And if you remember from Art Foundations 1, geometric is anything man-made, right? So if it's like a perfect circle, that works for a geometric design. And I'm going to go darker here to show you guys kind of what it looks like. Right. So within this framework, right, I created like a blend, right? So you can go super dark. It can come in and make it light, right? I just want you to test out how this works. And if you notice, I painted over here and then I brought it over here and made this area dark. So I might just come in and spread that out just a little bit. But it acts like watercolor, right? So as you're painting, it's just black and white watercolor. And there's watercolor pencils too. I have different colors if you'd like to add some color to yours. I didn't give everybody any because I don't have enough for everybody for every color. But if there's like a specific color you want to work with, I'm going to go back in over here and darken this edge. Okay, the other things you can do with this, you can put water down first. And you can dip this into water, not too far, to create blending, right? So do you see where it's going from the paint to the dry area, right? Or like the water to the dry area. So I'm kind of playing around with that. So I'd like you to play around with this. So, you know, create some things, try to control it. Do some things where you're not controlling it and you're creating like just different things. But I want you to cover this page in different lines, different qualities. All right, one last thing before I let you go. You need to, once you've painted things, I need you to make sure that if you do this next step, which is adding watercolor to your paper, that you need to activate all your charcoal, okay? Because if you start painting and you haven't activated all of your charcoal, it's going to turn into a dark mess, which is okay. If that's what you were going for, then go for it. So I'm going to come in with my paintbrush. Just make sure that I've activated every bit of it. And that's usually like the edges, like if you notice, I'm grabbing some of it. This is very dry. I'm recording this hours later. So, you know, I'm activating some of the charcoal again, right? And I just want to make sure that all of it's activated before I paint, because you can, once you've activated all of it, it is completely permanent. And you can paint on top of it with other colors and it's fine, okay, as long as you activated all of it. So let's try this yellow and see what happens. And if I did activate all of this and just add in color on top of my shading, right? And that is perfectly fine. You can totally do that. So as you're coming up with the design that you're going to do for this, you can keep in mind that you can add color right on top of it. Okay. So yeah, again, you're playing around with this for the rest of the class period. Do a whole bunch of things, like cover the whole page. This is where I was messing with things and in between shots here. Let's see. Actually, let's try this. I'm gonna try some yellow on top of the unactivated charcoal and see what happens. Yeah. I mean, basically what's happening is it's turning into a dark yellow as I'm painting out, right? And it's just doing something different. So try things, see what happens, be adventurous. If you notice for your projects, like your first project was gestural, it was completely trying new things, seeing what happens. Your second project was starting to get a little bit more technical, but still having some experimentation. There's experimentation in this one, but your end painting is going to be very technical. So this is the page to really try out everything so that as you start creating your artwork for this project, you already know how to deal with some of the problems you might run into, okay? So that's the point of this. So we're getting more and more technical as we went through the quarter, and that's how that rolled. So anywho, that's it.